What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to continue the topic. This is going to be part 3 of my 3-part series. So just as a recap, we're talking about how the cover designators don't mean whatever you think they mean. In the first episode, we talked about pearls. In the second episode, we talked about solids. And then in today's episode, we're talking about hybrids and how they're not all kind of in the middle. There are some hybrids that are very smooth and some hybrids that are very angular, like this one. So we're gonna talk about each of these 3 balls real quick, and then we're gonna take them on the lane so that you can see just how different they are. A lot of people, when they talk about these cover designators, they automatically assume that pearls are angular, solids are smooth, and hybrids just happen to land somewhere in the middle. So the first ball we're gonna take a look at is the Roto Grip RST X1. According to the website, has the Roto Star Tour core, which has an RG of 2.53, a max differential of 0.53, and an intermediate differential of 0.16. And then the cover is the hybrid micro tracks that comes out of box at a 3000 finish. Now this one is going to be very comparable to like your typical solid. And then the next ball we're going to take a look at is the Roto Grip UFO Alert, which has the ET core, which is very fitting, as an RG of 2.52, a max differential of 0.54, and an intermediate differential of 0.16. So very similar core to this RST X1, and they're both hybrid covers, so they should roll fairly similar on the lanes, but they absolutely do not, which we'll get to. It features the E-Trax hybrid cover that comes out of box at a 1500 grit polish, but because I've been using this ball in a lot of tournaments recently, I have it at a 2000 finish. Then the next ball we're gonna take a look at is the Storm Trend 2, which is a hybrid. It features the Piston LD core, which has an RG of 2.54 and a max differential of 0.41. And then it features the NRG hybrid cover stock, which is nano hybrid that comes out of box at a 1500 polish. So we're gonna take these balls out on the lanes now in just a second, and you're gonna see just how different all 3 of these bowling balls are, even though that they're all classified as hybrids. So just because you have maybe 3 or 4 hybrids in your bag doesn't mean that you can't add another one if it's the motion or the shape that you're looking for. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any of these balls and which one's your favorite and why. Let's get on the lanes. All right, first shot of the video here with the hybrids. First ball is the RST X1. This is the smoother one here. So I haven't thrown this X1 in a while, but that first shot really makes me reevaluate putting it back in the bag. It's gonna be hilarious how different this is than the other 2. Got that right a little bit. Oh! Okay, so I definitely can't miss right with the X1 here. So like I said while I was bowling, I haven't thrown this RST X1 in a long time, but it's definitely gonna find a way back into my bag. It gets into a roll fairly soon, and it doesn't wanna over jump the back part of the lane. The one shot that I missed right, it had no chance. And I will say that these 2 balls, if I miss them right like I did with that X1, it's definitely gonna come around the corner. And that has to do with the formula that's the cover. Just like I said, so just because they're hybrid doesn't mean that they're gonna be smooth or angular. It could be all 3 of these completely different shapes. So now we're gonna get into the UFO Alert, and I'm gonna start in the same part of the lane that I was just at with this X1, and then I'll make any adjustments accordingly if I have to. The one thing that I want you guys to pay attention to is the shape that they're creating. So let's go see what this UFO Alert does on the lane when compared to this X1. So this is gonna be the first shot here with a UFO Alert. Missed way right. Oh, that's hilarious. I was just talking about missing right and this one hooking more than or shaping more than the X1. So this is way cleaner than the X1, so I'm gonna move like 2 right here. Yeah, this alert definitely feels like that typical hybrid ball, if there's even such thing. I'm gonna move in a little here and keep my angles a little tighter and see how this looks here. So I just got off the lanes with the UFO alert, and the very first thing that I noticed is that it's a little bit cleaner through the fronts and creates more shape down lane than this RST-X1. But like I keep saying, they're both classified as hybrids, and they both have the same finish on them currently, which is 2000. And you can just see just how much cleaner and how much more shape this one produces because of the formula in the cover. Now we're gonna get into the Trend 2, and this is gonna be the one that's gonna be even more different than both of these. If you saw this ball go down the lane and someone just asked, is that a pearl, solid, or hybrid? I would say that 9 people out of 10 would say that this thing is a pearl, just because of how much shape and how quick it is down lane. So we're gonna get on the lanes now and take a look at this Trend 2. All right, first shot here with the Trend 2. So the Trend 2 creates way more shape. So I'm actually gonna move a little bit left here and give it the business at the bottom. Oh. So that wrap 10 broke my heart, so I'm gonna move 1 and 0 left here. See if I can kick out that 10 pin. There we go. This is another 1 left here, 1 and 0. All right, so it's bordering on hilarious just how much more shape the Trend 2 produces than either one of these balls. And again, just to reiterate or hammer in the fact that the cover designator of pearl solid, or in this case hybrid, doesn't really mean a whole lot. You can have a bag full of hybrids, right? And still need another hybrid as an example. So when building an arsenal, you should worry more about what shape you're looking for. Because if I'm looking for a ball that's gonna be very early, very rolly, I'm not gonna discredit this X1 just because it's a hybrid. And then on the opposite end, if I need a ball that's a little bit longer, create a little bit more shape, allow me to chase it into the pattern, I'm not gonna discredit this Trend 2 just because it's a hybrid. You gotta look at the shape that they're producing. Now we're gonna get back into the X1. All right, first shot back here with the X1, and I'm gonna stay left throughout the rest of this video. Yeah, I like how smooth and in control this ball is throughout the whole lane. Smooth, control, predictable. Miss left. All right, let's do that last shot again, but not miss an arrow left here. Oh, that broke my heart. So I think more than the smooth pearl and the smooth solid, I think this RST-X1 is like that prototypical solid, quote unquote, because I mean, it really wants to dig. It's very smooth and it is very, very continuous, which is not typically something that like the old traditional thinking says about hybrids. So like I said during one of those shots, I am gonna continue to stay left throughout this video because the first half of the video was from a little bit straighter, my angle's a little bit more shut down. I definitely want to be opening up my angles a little bit more as we progress through this video, especially now that there's definitely some transition on the lanes. So now we're going to get into the UFO alert. All right, first shot back with the UFO alert. Like I said, I want to try to create a little bit more angle with this first shot here just to see. I missed an arrow left. Again, gonna try that without missing an arrow left here. Good shot. Yeah, that's so much more shape. You know what I mean? This ball looks really good when I don't miss an arrow left. I really hope that those last couple shots really showcase why I like this UFO alert so much. It's early enough, it shapes enough, but doesn't do any of them very drastically. Kind of just like a middle of the road, middle of the everything kind of shape. And like I said, they're all hybrids, so theoretically they should all fit that category of ball that I'm looking for, but they absolutely do not. They all roll completely different, independent from one another. And that's why I really like, of these three, this one's probably my favorite. So now we're gonna continue to chase it left and get into the trend 2. And this is where I'm gonna create the largest amount of angle, because this is the one that's the quickest down lane, the cleanest through the front, the one that resembles a pearl the most. So let's get back on the lanes. I'm gonna try to tap into my inner Belmo here and create a lot of shape. Good shot. So I think I can actually create a little more shape and it still strikes. Oh, missed a bunch right. A mile right or left. Good shot. Good shot. All right, so there was the trend 2, and as you guys can see, that one, more than the others, was the cleanest through the fronts, easily the one that produced the most amount of motion down lane. So the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away, not only from this video, but from this entire series that I did, and I hope you guys are enjoying it, is that just because the ball is a pearl, a solid, a hybrid, whatever the case may be, don't discredit it because you already have several of them in the bag. For example, these 3 balls could very easily also be a little 3-ball arsenal, even a 3-ball progression where I'd start a little bit straighter with this RSTX1, kind of like I did at the beginning of the video. Then as I feel like I have to create a little bit more shape, create larger angles, I can go right into this UFO alert. And then once the UFO alert, because it is a larger asymmetrical core, once it starts to read the front part of the lane a little bit too hard, I can go right into this trend 2 when I have to create those larger angles, make sure the ball clears the fronts and creates that shape. So let me know down below in the comments which of these 3 videos, the solid, the pearl, or the hybrid, did you appreciate the most, or the one that you learned the most about. Click right here to watch one of my other videos. Click right here to subscribe. Till next time.